Hey guys, what's up? Sean Ogle, Location Rebel. We've got another case study today, and this one I'm really excited about because Jessica Dusak joined Location Rebel, like 3 months ago? Just a few months ago. And she's
In May.
all in May, and so
Yeah.
it's July now. She's already making some crazy changes in her life, and I'm really excited to talk to her about it. But first off, Jessica, thank you so much for taking the time and doing this today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. As you know, I had a really awesome conference room booked, and I kind of had to location rebel this meeting out to the outdoors. So I hope that that works out okay for you.
Hey, you got some nice breeze coming in. You got beautiful scenery. So that's what
I
being a location
do.
rebel's all about. You just,
Yeah,
adapt and go with it.
I'm
Um,
practicing now.
See, there you go. Okay, so let's back up to like 6 months ago. I know
Mhm.
when you first joined Location Rebel, you said you had these goals. You wanted to work for yourself. You have a daughter that you wanted to spend more time with. Tell me,
Yep.
tell me a little bit about where you're at and kind of, what you were feeling a few months back.
So a few months back, I have a job that I do like. I do like my job. Um, I don't love it like a
Hmm.
lot of people. I enjoy going there. I have great coworkers. One problem with it is that it's funding dependent. So at any minute, and sometimes this happens where they say there's a chance you're all fired next week.
Wow.
That's a lot of stress.
Totally.
Also, it's a flexible job, but flexible means I'm here till midnight a couple times a month,
Uh huh.
and most of the time I'm here till like 7 or 8 at night, which I would really prefer not to be because I want to be home with my daughter.
Absolutely.
And all the time, for years, I've been dreaming of starting my own business, dreaming of taking the plunge, and I just didn't know how to do it. I've read, you read online an article or a life coach giving really encouraging words, and they're like, you can do it. And I'm like, I could if you told me how to do it, and I don't know how to do it.
It's like
Uh,
inspiration is great. You can tell me I can do it as much as you want, but until you give me like a roadmap for how to, then it's a little bit more difficult.
I know, and it feels like cheating. Like, well, can you give me the instructions? But I couldn't find anybody to give me any instructions, so I can't just take the plunge into what. So
Totally.
that was a few months ago, and I was really starting to get sort of sad. You're on the way to work in the morning on the train. I just read all these awesome articles and companies that are starting, and think like, oh, I want to do that. I have no idea how to do that, and it seems impossible, and it seems like a world away that has nothing to do with you,
Yeah.
even though you're like, I know I could do this.
It's like I've
But
got this inside of me. It's like I've
yeah,
got the motivation and the drive. I just need a little direction.
yeah, totally direction.
Okay, so that was a few months back. You joined Location Rebel in May. What was that like when you first, you got inside, you started going through it? Like, did you feel like you started to get a little bit of that direction? Did things take off right away? Like, what was your first month like?
My first month, well, I mean, I could have just paid for it, but I'd kind of waited. I really wanted to save to prove to myself this wasn't just something I was going to do on a whim.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say I'm investing in myself, and I was really connected with your program. So I signed up the first day. I think I stayed up probably till 3 in the morning reading, and I loved the forums. I think I started with the actual course, Location Rebel course,
Yep.
and every time you linked off to something, I would keep reading,
Yep.
and I did feel overwhelmed, and I started trying to choose which blueprint I thought I would go with.
Hmm.
So by trade, I'm a writer. I love writing. I've
Okay.
had a lot of success in other really um, abstract areas of writing, like comedy writing and screenwriting, and other like places, joke writing, and places where there's not as many like firm rules, I guess.
Totally.
And then academic writing, because I work in research.
Hmm.
So, you want to write a science journal article, I can do that. But I started with the SEO. And then I also read the SEO content, and then I also read the SEO search engine optimization,
Right.
I actually read that by accident, and I was like, this is so hard. When am I going to get to the writing? And then I got through it, though. And then at the end, I was like, I could do
It's
this
like this
too.
makes sense. Okay, I got this.
Yeah, yeah. And then I peeked around at the other, like you said, I peeked around at all the other ones to see what really connected with me. And I thought, the SEO content writing
And,
works for right now. I feel really good about it, so I'm going to just give it a shot.
and
So,
so
yeah.
what happened? Did you like jump right in and all of a sudden like money's falling in your lap and you've got clients all over the place? Did you have any struggles like trying to find clients when you're first getting started? What was that path like?
Well, I was affected by what other people write and say all over the internet and in real life. where are you going to find a client? It's so hard to find a client. And people who vent, and I know sometimes venting is just venting, but you're like, oh my gosh, these people can't find any work. How am I
How
going
am
to find
I going
work?
to do it? Who doesn't have any
How,
experience with this and all
no,
these?
how am I, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I wrote some samples. I sat down, and that was the hardest part. It was really tempting to be like, I should get a website, and I should get a banner, and I should get a bunch of business cards, and I didn't.
Yep.
I wrote some samples, and I saw a job ad on Location Rebels Forum.
Yeah.
That was my first job, and
Nice.
I applied to it, and I didn't hear anything back. But I felt like, I really gave a good application. And I know everybody thinks that, but like I really think that. I think I'll at least hear something
I
back.
was awesome. Why wouldn't they at least write me back?
I just feel like I gave them what they wanted, and sometimes when you give somebody what they want, they at least tell you why they didn't choose you. So that
Yeah.
was kind of what I was expecting. Totally shocked. Instead, what I got was an apology for it taking so long for them to get back to me, and that they loved me and they hired me. And this has been, oh my gosh, I think I've done 50 articles with this person
Okay.
now, so we have sort of a long-term
So it's kind of turned
agreement.
into a recurring thing. I still remember getting the email you sent me where you're like, oh my God, I kind of struggled for a while and I waited a couple weeks and I went through everything and then I got a client. And it's amazing how it just kind of happens. Like all it takes is like one break sometimes and things kind of snowball.
Well, this was my first email, my first attempt at trying to get a job, and I
Yeah.
got that job, and it was a huge job. So I'm like, wow, I don't know what I'm doing, but I do know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna just keep going. And he has been so awesome helping me with, all the little ins and outs about, sentence structure and styles that different clients want. That night after I got that job, and that whole month I was traveling. I was in Vermont, I was in New York, I was in New Jersey, I was all over the place, and I just kept applying for jobs.
Yeah.
I just said, let me just apply for jobs, and I don't want to come off sounding like really like full of myself, but basically every single job I applied to that week I got.
Well, it's also amazing when you apply to jobs in the right way and you take the right approach. Like some people will come in and they'll get a list of 200 emails and they'll do a blanket mail merge, like send the same stock thing out to 200 people, and they're like, I didn't get a single response. Like, what the hell? Like, this makes no sense. And if you take the time and you are personal about it and you spend a little bit more time on each of them, it's amazing. It's not that hard. You just have to, come in with the right approach.
I honestly, I'm not just saying this. Each job that I've applied to, whether it's been somebody on Location Rebel, somebody on Odesk, somebody that was referred to me, or just a firm that I found on the internet, I really took the time to like look into their website, look at what they were wanting. I Googled the heck out of them. I looked at their LinkedIn pages. I tried to see if I could find out any personal weird information about them.
Totally.
And then I wrote them a really like from the heart email, like, you know what, I feel like you could use this, or this is what I have to offer, and this is what I'm about. I send a picture of myself. I don't know if that's creepy, but
No, it's not at all. It's smart.
I want you to see, like, I'm a real person. If you want to talk to me, I'm open to that. And I would give them compliments about things that I genuinely liked. Like somebody wrote an article that was about I don't remember what it was about, but it was something I really enjoyed, and I was actually going to think about purchasing the product. So I told them that. I was like,
Yeah.
You convinced me. So the way that I've been interacting with people, I think, has led me to get a lot of work, and it's all varied. It's all different types of SEO writing, all different types of blogging. For the most part, I don't think my name is attached to anything that I do, which is okay.
Is in like you're a ghostwriter? Is that what you're saying?
I'm a ghostwriter. I'm writing for a company, or I'm writing just sort of their content,
Got it.
like their own blog. Nobody really says who's writing it, but you assume it's not this, blonde girl from Boston.
Totally.
And that's okay. It's really great. So I've been very, very busy. I've been working literally 24/7 for the past month. Yesterday was the first day that I had every single deadline done, and I have nothing due until the end of the month. I have a bunch of big deadlines, like really large, like 20-something page projects.
Totally. And
yeah.
yesterday was kind of a big day for you for other reasons too, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because I gave my notice.
Congratulations. Nice. So you
Anyway.
joined in May. It's now July. So 2 months later, you've gone from not sure what to do to leaving your job, and you've got another kind of big adventure coming up, right?
I do. I do. So the opportunity presented itself for me to, for some friends and family to go to Colorado. Now my job is here, my life is here, but if I stayed here by myself, life was going to be really hard. And I suddenly started seeing that I wanted to start scaling back at work to make my own business anyway.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I said, you know what? With what I'm squeezing in my spare time, I don't know if it's okay for me to say what I've made this
Oh, you
month.
can say whatever you want.
So this month, so since like the second week of June, when I first sent my first email, I'm at about $1,850. But I
Nice.
just signed another retainer yesterday for $250 a month for the next like 15 months.
That's
So
awesome. So
and
so
and I work
basically,
like
yeah.
60 hours a week, and I'm doing this on top of that. So
So you're working
um,
crazy hours, but it's also got to the point where you've got, pretty close to a livable income in, 2 months.
yeah.
And it's got to be intense and overwhelming, but it's also got to be really exciting at the same time.
It's really exciting. And if I didn't have my 40 to 60 hour a week job that I worked at now, and I mean, they're not like forcing me to work that much. I just have a very intensive job that I
Yeah.
enjoy. But if I didn't have that, I could certainly focus some more time on my writing, and I think I could make enough that I could survive. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to pick up. I'm going to go to Colorado October 1st. I'm selling everything I own. I've never been there. I hear it's nice. I'm
Yeah.
going to go to
It's
Boulder.
beautiful.
So,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
And Boulder is awesome. So,
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna go to Boulder, Colorado. I gave my notice yesterday, and there is, I don't know if everybody knows this, but there's a blueprint on Location Rebel that is about doing a remote work agreement. I think that's what it's
yep.
called. I read that, and I did present that to my boss. I did present the idea that I do care about the projects we work on at the job I have now. I do, and I want to keep myself involved. And there's no reason why I can't. We have Skype, we have video conferencing, we have Go to My PC. There's all these cute little free things that, there's no reason why I can't work. And they're thinking about it.
So, and you
So
just
there's
told them that like yesterday, right?
yesterday at 12:30
So,
in the
literally
afternoon.
24 hours ago.
That's right.
Oh,
um, and they were really upset. Not upset, they were really shocked, but they all were really supportive. And they were more than happy to think about ways to try and keep me when I presented it with the facts that you guys had put in your blueprint.
totally.
So that might come through. I'm hoping it does because I enjoy working with these people and I'd love to keep their mission going.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. So
yeah,
this is one of my favorite stories we've had ever. It's like the fact
yeah,
you join, you want to spend time with your daughter, things work out, you're moving. It's like, and all of this happening in such a short period of time. So there's probably a lot of people that are watching this right now, and they're thinking, "There's no way I can do that." It's like, yeah, that worked out for her. That could never work for me. Sean probably paid her a bunch of money to say all these nice things. Like,
right.
what would you say to that person that's sitting watching this right now that might be on the fence about joining Location Rebel?
So I would talk to them. I would give. I'm gonna look at my clock, so I only speak for 1 minute. Okay,
Okay.
so I would say honestly, who I am is I'm a girl who grew up in an extremely impoverished area of New Jersey. I grew up poor. Like you email me and I'll send you stories. I can't tell them on here.
Yeah.
I moved out of I moved out of my house when I was a teenager, a very young teenager, into my own apartment. I worked around the clock to go to high school. I've been working my butt off ever since, and I've never really gotten ahead. I don't have a stockpile of money. There is no mother and father or trust fund or magic that is giving me, oh, well, you can just pick up and move your job. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
In my bank account right now, I have my tax return, and like I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, because that's what I used to think, people are like, I'm gonna just jump off and start a business. I'm gonna go across the country, and I'm like, yeah, but you've got $20,000
You got a
in the
bunch of money
bank.
saved up, and your
You've got
parents
a
to
bunch
back
of
you up,
money.
and all that kind of
I
stuff.
have no credit, okay? Like, I don't even have a credit card. I might have credit, but I don't even apply to credit cards because I'm so afraid of them. I've got to get over these fears. I have some fears. But, after you've lived your life sort of, when you grow up really poor, you just always assume stuff isn't going to work out. You don't take chances.
Totally.
And I've always tried to take the chance. But as far as I've got a good job, I've got a great apartment, I've got furniture, I get to go out and I eat stuff, just like everybody else who has a job. I don't have any nest egg. I just know I know how easy it's been for me to pick up work. Now,
Yeah.
every single one of my clients will be watching this and be like, "We hate her." Okay, we
She's
just
terrible. Oh my god.
work is oh, I can't wait to fire her. I don't know. That
Yeah.
could happen. But it was so easy for me to find them just by reaching out that I know I could find more people even easier. And somehow I picked up a job off of Odesk, which is now Upwork, writing for real estate, like really fancy real estate descriptions. And they're paying me $50 a piece for these like really high-end $1 million luxury apartments. And they found me, and people were like, "Don't even bother with Upwork or Odesk." They came to me and they liked my profile, and that's what they said. They were like, "We liked your profile. We liked what you write. You were funny." And that was it. They didn't. I didn't even ask me for a sample.
Well,
So
sorry, I didn't
yeah,
mean to interrupt, but I think that's what's amazing about so many of this. People are like, I'm going to start with SEO writing, this really low level of writing, but
yeah.
once you once you get into it, it's like it just kind of goes in snow. It's like here's a copywriting job, here's a blogging job, here's a like ghostwriting job, and that's what so many people have found. So it's interesting to see that that's kind of been the same for you.
Absolutely. And I'm really interested in getting into copywriting because copywriting is what I do here at my current research job. Because research is science, science is boring. Not boring to scientists, but boring to everybody else in the world. And if we want to get you interested in the medical research, I would rewrite it in a way that would make the scientists like cringe and make everybody else like be like, "Oh my God, I'm so interested in your
Oh, this actually makes
project.
sense. This is
Oh my
entertaining.
gosh, this is the best research we've ever heard of in our life. Let me give you some money."
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't do that, but we wish they would. So I know that I could be a copywriter, and I'd like to get into that. And I'm looking at the copywriting blueprint now.
Hmm.
And now that I have some time next week, I'm going to spend some time looking into that. My website is finished this morning. I haven't even looked at it. I don't even know if that's true. They sent me an email saying it would be finished this morning.
Wait, and
Um,
what's the URL of the website?
the website URL is my name, www.jessicadusak.com.
Wait, .com. So
That's right.
so just
Wait
to
for it.
wait for it. So just to wrap it up, you've been so gracious with your time. Like, would you say that Location Rebel has been one of the instrumental tools that has gotten you from point A to point B?
Yes, absolutely. And I have told everybody I know about this. And it is so sad how many people who are very intelligent people will look at me and say, "That is like the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. And why would you think that some internet course is going to help you? And why would you think the negativity, if you let it get to you?" And I'd say, and then when I tell them, like, "Oh, I made $1,800, almost $2,000 this month, just, in my spare time," they're like,
Oh, okay,
oh,
that's interesting.
well,
Tell me about
well,
that.
what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm writing using the steps this person told me to write." And like, it's really like, then it's eye opening. Then they're like, "Oh, well, can you send me the site?" Or like, "Well, could
I
it work
tried to
for
send
me?"
it to you a month ago, and you didn't want
I'm
to
like,
hear
"Yeah,
about
I
it.
tried to tell you about this, and you told me I was falling for some Avon scan or something." And I'm like, "No, and Avon's not even a scam." Like, I don't know. It's amazing how people are really skeptical and they're really negative, and you just have to block that out. But I promise you, anybody can email me and ask me any question. I'll tell you. If you want to know from where in New Jersey, Elizabeth, New Jersey. The Newark Airport is actually in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Newark is like, it's like the Newark of airports, and we're like we're like right there. It's a very rough area, very impoverished. I didn't have a privileged background. You know, I just want to point out, like, you can totally do this. And I know that I'm going to start my own firm. I know that my dreams are going to come true. I'm going to keep bothering you. I'm going to keep emailing you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All
Well, and
right.
that's one of the things you mentioned. It's like everyone thinks it's a scam, and that's one of my big like personal fears because I try and just be as genuine and as real as I can on my blog and on the
Hmm.
internet because it's like there are a lot of people who are just out to take your money and whatever, and you never know. And so
Yeah.
I hope it's like conversations like this that come across. It's like, hey, we're all just real people here. We're all just trying to, you know, create a life that we want to live that allows us to do more fun things and support ourselves. And I think that's pretty cool that you're able to do what you've been doing.
I'm really excited. My dreams, I'll just tell these location rebels for next year. All my millions of dreams is that I said the minute I pushed the button in May, even though I'm not even reading it yet to find out what I had to do, I said next, by the time next summer comes, I will be in Bali I'm going
Okay.
to Bali for a few weeks. I'm taking my 3-year-old, which nobody ever talks about that on Location Rebel, but I'm taking her. I was like, we're going to go to Bali. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't had in my mind. I didn't even know I'd be leaving my job.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm like, we're going to Bali, and I want to go. I've read about it. It sounds awesome. So that's my dream. So I will be in Bali next summer, and that's my goal.
We're gonna do
Um,
another interview with you from a beach in Bali. Because
oh
I
my
used to
god.
like when you go, I used to live there, so I'll give you
Yeah.
whatever you want to know. And there's actually another person in Location Rebel who took a big sabbatical from his job and took his kids and his wife out to Bali as well. So I'll make sure you
Okay,
guys
so
get
it's
put in touch.
possible.
But
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm
anyway,
gonna work towards that all year, and I know it's gonna be hard, but you know what? It's really fun.
it's
Like I don't
fun
mind.
and it's an
It's
adventure.
exciting.
It's what it should be all about.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank
So
you so much for talking with
no,
me.
thank you so much. This has honestly made my day to just see how happy you are with everything you've got going on. It's really, really cool. So I'm excited to see where this goes from here. I'm excited to, I come to Colorado once or twice a year, so I'll come see if we can find you in Boulder, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Sounds
So
good.
anyway, thank you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.